quaint little workshop, filled with the scent of sawdust and the quiet hum of tools, lived an old carpenter named Geppetto. His days were often solitary, his only companions the wooden figures he meticulously carved.
If only I had a son.
More than anything, Geppetto longed for a child. One evening, as a particularly bright star twinkled in the velvet sky, Geppetto put the finishing touches on his latest creation, a small, lively-looking puppet carved from pine wood. He named him Pinocchio. With a sigh that carried all his hopes and dreams, Geppetto whispered, "Oh, how I wish you were a real boy." He then tucked Pinocchio into a tiny bed and drifted off to sleep, his heart heavy with a silent prayer. As the moon cast its gentle glow through the workshop window, a soft, shimmering light filled the room. A beautiful blue fairy, radiant and kind, appeared beside Pinocchio's bed. With a wave of her wand, she touched the wooden puppet. A spark of life ignited within him. Pinocchio's eyes fluttered open, wide with wonder. He wiggled his fingers, then his toes, and to his utter astonishment, he sat up. "I can move."
Yes, Pinocchio, you can move, and if you prove yourself to be brave, truthful, and unselfish, one day you can become a real boy.
She then gave him a special gift, a nose that would grow longer whenever he told a lie, and shrink back to normal when he spoke the truth or apology. Pinocchio, overjoyed, promised to be the best boy he could be. The next morning, Geppetto awoke to the sound of Pinocchio's excited chatter. His heart swelled with happiness when he saw Pinocchio moving like a real boy.
Oh, my little Pinocchio, you're a real boy.
He was extremely happy because now he has a son. To ensure Pinocchio received a good education, Geppetto, with a loving but heavy heart, sold his only coat to buy him a schoolbook.
For you, my son, I would sell the coat off my own back. Go to school, my dear boy, and learn all that you can and make me proud.
Pinocchio, clutching his new book, set off with a skip in his step, eager to make his father proud. But the world outside Geppetto's workshop was full of distractions. On his way to school, Pinocchio encountered two sly characters, a cunning fox and a mischievous cat. Their glib tongues and false smiles, they praised Pinocchio's fine clothes and his shiny new book.
School is so dull.
Come with us to the Grand Puppet Show. It's much more exciting than boring lessons.
Pinocchio hesitated, remembering his promise to Geppetto and the Blue Fairy's words. But the lure of adventure was strong. Just for a little while, he thought, trying to convince himself. The fox asked if he was going to school. Pinocchio, feeling a strange tingle, replied, "No, I'm going to the puppet show." Instantly, his nose began to grow, stretching out like a twig. He gasped in surprise, but the fox and cat merely chuckled, pretending not to notice. At the puppet show, Pinocchio was captivated by the dancing figures, but his joy was short-lived. The cruel puppet master, Stromboli, saw Pinocchio's unique ability to move on his own and decided to keep him, locking him in a cage. Pinocchio cried, his wooden tears falling silently. He had abandoned his father's wishes, lied, and now he was trapped. The Blue Fairy appeared again, her expression gentle but firm.
What happened? Why aren't you at school, Pinocchio?
Pinocchio, ashamed, tried to make excuses, each lie causing his nose to grow longer and longer, until it was so long he could barely move.
Oh, Blue Fairy, I'm so sorry.
He finally sobbed, confessing everything. With a touch of her wand, his nose returned to normal, and she freed him, but warned him to be more careful. Pinocchio, chastened, promised to do better. Then he set off for home, determined to find Geppetto. But his journey was far from over. The fox and cat, ever watchful, reappeared, pretending to be his friends.
We know a place where you can become rich, the fox exclaimed, his voice dripping with false sincerity. The Field of Miracles. It is the place where you bury your gold coins there, and by morning, they'll grow into a magnificent money tree.
Pinocchio, despite his earlier lesson, was still naive. He buried his coins, full of hope, only to wake up and find nothing but empty earth. The fox and cat had stolen his money. Heartbroken and hungry, Pinocchio continued his journey, only to be lured onto a carriage bound for Pleasure Island, a place where boys could play all day, eat sweets, and never go to school. It seemed like a dream come true. Pinocchio reveled in the endless games and treats, forgetting all about his father and his promises. But slowly, subtly, a terrifying change began. First, his ears grew long and furry. Then, a tail sprouted from his back. Soon, he was braying instead of speaking, transforming into a donkey. The boys on Pleasure Island were being turned into donkeys and sold to work in mines and circuses. Pinocchio, terrified and filled with deep regret, was sold to a cruel circus master. He was forced to perform tricks, his heart aching for his father and the life he had thrown away. During a performance, he stumbled and fell, injuring himself. The circus master, deeming him useless, decided to throw him into the sea, hoping to drown him and use his skin for a drum. But the moment Pinocchio hit the water, the magic of Pleasure Island began to wear off. He transformed back into a puppet, without any donkey ears and a tail. He swam desperately, his wooden body bobbing in the waves, his only thought to find Geppetto. He heard whispers from passing sailors about an old carpenter who had set out to sea in search of his lost son, only to be swallowed by a monstrous whale. A cold dread gripped Pinocchio's heart. It was his fault, his selfishness, his lies, his disobedience.
I'm so very sorry. Please, please forgive me.
A profound sense of love and responsibility washed over him. He knew what he had to do. With newfound courage, Pinocchio plunged into the dark, churning waters, determined to find the whale and rescue Geppetto, no matter the cost. The ocean was vast and terrifying, but Pinocchio swam with a fierce determination he had never known. He searched for days, his wooden body battered by the waves, his spirit fueled by love. Finally, he saw it, a colossal whale, larger than any ship, its enormous mouth agape. Without a moment's hesitation, Pinocchio swam directly into its cavernous maw. Inside, it was dark and damp, filled with the smell of fish and seaweed. He called out, his voice echoing in the gloom.
Pinocchio?
A weak voice answered.
Is that truly you, my son?
Pinocchio stumbled forward, and there, amidst the debris, was Geppetto, frail and pale, but alive.
Here, let me help you.
He had been living inside the whale's belly, surviving on scraps. Their reunion was tearful and full of relief.
Father, I found you.
Pinocchio, my boy, I thought I lost you forever.
We must escape, father, Pinocchio declared. He noticed a flickering candle, almost out of oil. A plan formed in his mind. Pinocchio began to gather all the flammable materials, old wood, broken masts, anything that would burn. He carefully built a small fire, using the last drops of oil. The smoke began to fill the whale's stomach. The giant creature, annoyed, began to cough and sneeze. With a mighty expulsion, the whale sneezed them out.
Sea at last. We are safe, Pinocchio.
Pinocchio, holding on to Geppetto, swam towards the shore. He carried his father on his back, pushing through the waves until they reached the beach. Exhausted but safe, they collapsed onto the sand, holding each other tight. Back in Geppetto's workshop, Pinocchio nursed his father back to health. He worked tirelessly, helping Geppetto, fetching water, and never complaining. He was honest, kind, and always put his father's needs first. One morning, Pinocchio looked at his wooden hands, then at his father's worn face. He wished he could truly be a son, a real boy. Just then, the blue fairy appeared, her eyes shining.
Pinocchio, you have proven yourself brave, truthful, and unselfish. You have learned the true meaning of love and sacrifice.
With a wave of her wand, a warm sensation spread through Pinocchio. His skin softened, his joints became flexible.
Hands. They're real. I'm a real boy.
Pinocchio, my boy.
Geppetto awoke to find a joyful, living boy standing beside his bed. Tears streamed down his face as he embraced his son. Pinocchio, now real, felt the warmth of his father's hug. From that day forward, Pinocchio and Geppetto lived a life filled with love and happiness. Pinocchio never forgot the lessons he learned, remembering that true magic lies in a kind heart.
Thank you for listening to this wonderful story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe to the Eternal Fairy Tales channel and hit the bell so you won't miss any magical adventure. See you soon with a new enchanted story.